All right, guys, so you hear the club music in the back. I'm actually going to turn this down a little bit because I know that we're shooting this video right now. Got the shisha on deck, laptop on deck, making phone calls right now. And I wanted to go ahead and quickly speak about how irrelevant your feelings are towards you actually becoming successful. Today, you could say that I woke up not feeling the best. But who gives a fuck about your feelings, right? Business doesn't give a fuck about your feelings. Your family doesn't give a fuck about your feelings. Even if they do, what is your feelings going to productively do for them? Nothing, right? So right now, I'm making phone calls. I'm getting to the bag. I'm making sure that I'm doing everything that I'm supposed to be doing because it is a priority to my business, to my family, to my duty as a man to make sure that I perform regardless of how I feel. And the reason why I have the music in the background is it's a psychological trick that I'm utilizing on myself. And you have to start to think about yourself and the world in this frame, in this way, right? Why? Because I understand that if I'm putting a specific song, let's say club music, right? We'll talk about that song as club music. That's the label that we'll give it. I understand that typically when I hear a song like that it gets my energy up. It brings my energy up because, okay, I'm active, club scene, I'm talking to this, I'm talking to this person, I'm talking to that person, I'm socializing, I'm aware of what's happening in the environment, I'm up, right? As opposed to listening to sad music or listening to music that is just going to be counterintuitive to the energy that I'm looking to manipulate myself to tap into. And you have to start to manipulate yourself to do the things that you need to do to continue to progress in your career, in your life, in your business, with your relationships, whatever it is. Even if you're going to a coffee shop, right, and you're getting coffee and you're not necessarily feeling good, it doesn't matter, man. Have that interaction, talk to people, force yourself to be in a more uplifting state, and you'll start to see that subconsciously you will start to consciously now be more energetic, be more elevated. You'll start to be more influential and more inspiring and more impactful to the people that you're speaking with. Even on the phones right now, again, I'm making calls. Yeah, I may not have felt like making calls all right now, I don't really feel like it. I would rather just go upstairs and go to sleep. But no, if I did that, what would happen to the mortgage that has to get paid in this house? And this is an expensive fucking house, right? So for you to be able to actually have nice things and live the life that you actually want to live, the universe is going to consistently test you to see if you're capable and deserving of this life. The universe understands that I'm capable and fully deserving of this life because of how I respond to situations like this, how I respond to when I'm not necessarily feeling that good, because I understand that the responsibilities that I have to fulfill don't give a fuck about my feelings. They don't. So you as a man, you have to start to live this way. And that's why it's also so valuable to be around an environment that whether you feel like it or not, you have other people on your end that are just going out there and making things happen. You see that and you're like, wow, like for example, we have a group chat and I'm scrolling through it and I'm seeing, okay, like so-and-so got their workout in, this person's working on their business, this person's still making calls. And when you see that, it's like, well, regardless of how I feel, I understand that this is what it takes to get to that next level. I understand that it's player versus player. And regardless of how I feel, there is somebody out there still making calls and calling the same people that I should be calling. And if I'm not doing that, regardless of how I feel, I'm falling behind. So what the fuck am I going to do? I'm going to pick up the phone and start calling. And that's my response to anything. Any kind of pattern, mental pattern that I may have that is taking me away from the things that I'm supposed to be doing, I always start to manipulate my own way of thinking and ask myself these profound questions. Well, Jose, what is your purpose? What is your why? You want to have a bigger house? You want to satisfy your family a lot better? You want to be able to be a better provider, a better protector? You want them to feel safe even in the moments where you're not necessarily feeling good? Cool. Then these are the days that I actually welcome because it qualifies myself as the man that I know that I am. And every single day that I wake up feeling like this, I get excited. Even that in and of itself, you can start telling yourself this. Anytime I feel like this, I get excited because I know that this is my opportunity to prove to myself and to prove to the universe that I am deserving of that next day. And everybody has a specific temperature, right? Your temperature may be 100K. My temperature may be $5 million, $10 million, $20 million, $30 million, $50 million, whatever it is, right? And you have to understand that this is a subconscious thing that happens below your awareness, that once you start to see some progress in your business and you start to see certain things are actually moving towards that direction, there may be a glance of, oh, well, maybe I could take it a little bit easier today. I've been so productive. And that also comes with the environment. Because if you're in an environment where you're the biggest fish in your pond, then you're more likely to fall susceptible to that trap. However, if you're around bigger fish, if you're around people that are waking up and killing it every single day, the Built From Pain Network, that's what the fuck we're about. We wake up and we get shit done, right? So if you're around that kind of environment, now you're thinking to yourself, well, shit, what excuse do I have if somebody else out there that probably had the same excuse and still got up and did it anyways wasn't fazed by it? What do I have to fucking lose? I'm going to go out there and I'm going to make it count. I'm going to brainwash myself to understand that for me to elevate that temperature of standard that I set for myself unconsciously, I'm going to have to work in the moments of where I feel the pain. There's a lot of, you could say, fitness coaches that tell you, oh, it doesn't count until it hurts. Once it starts hurting, that's when the reps count. You hear guys like David Goggins talking about that, right? I would only start counting the push-ups that I did once I started to feel like the pain was coming in. But why does he say that? Because we intuitively understand that the growth only happens when there's friction. The growth only happens when we don't necessarily feel like it. However, when you do that extra rep, it compounds, right? So you do one rep every single day more than what you thought you were capable of. That's 365 reps additionally that you did by just forcing yourself to do it. Those 365 reps are going to compound. It's the same thing with calling. You call for 1 hour more than what you intentionally wanted to call for. Yet that hour is going to be 365 hours by the end of that year. Do you think that if you put 365 additional hours towards your business that it will grow? Of course it would. So now you have to start to look at your in-person situation and ask yourself, okay, I don't like where I'm at right now. How can I put more work into it? How can I heighten the volume that I'm already giving to my business so that A, I can become more skillful, and B, I can gain more results because I'm putting more hours in the business? That's just simple math, right? And having that support, having those people around you that are always doing something every single day could also inspire your mentality to go out there and get after it even when you don't feel like it. So if this is what's necessary for you to get to the next level, if you're going to the gym and lifting 35 pounds is hard for you, however, you go out there consistently either way and you get it done regardless of how you feel, the next week you might be able to pick up 45 pounds. The next week after that, you may be able to pick 100 pounds up, right? And then little by little, you just start to climb. And then you realize, you look back into that year and you're like, wow, man, I got so many things done. And it happens when you don't feel like it, because that's when you're tested with what kind of choice you're going to make. Are you going to make the choice that's going to make you as a courageous man, a man that's willing to go out there and go after it even when he doesn't feel like it? Or are you going to be the coward that doesn't have the bravery that it takes for him to actually go out there and say, you know what, even though if I don't feel like it, I'm going to fucking do it anyways? Because I'll tell you what, 80% of the people are going to take the coward's route. 80% of the people aren't going to push through it and actually give that extra rep. And that's what separates the lions from the sheep. If you want to be a fucking lion, regardless of how the fuck you feel, if the hunt is right in front of you, I don't give a fuck if you're tired. I don't give a fuck if your head hurts. It doesn't matter. It's irrelevant. The hunt is right in front of you. The only thing that matters is when you go after that fucking kill and you come back to your family and say food. And then everybody feasts. And then everybody's happy. That's going to bring a more gratifying feeling than if you just lay down and say, oh, whatever, skip out on the hunt, and then feel like a coward, feel like a bitch because you didn't go after that obstacle that was right in front of you. I don't know why the world or the universe works this way. However, it's always the days that you don't feel like it that you actually get to take that opportunity that's in front of you. The opportunities present themselves when you don't feel like it, because the universe is somehow testing you to see if you're actually capable of that next level. So now you have a choice. Are you gonna pick the coward's route, and every single time you don't feel like it, you're going to miss out on an opportunity? Or are you gonna take the courage route? Are you gonna take the route where the winners go and the winners belong, because they're the 20% that is actually taking action day in and day out? What did I mention? What are some of the key things that I mentioned here in this short speech? The first thing is doing things regardless of how you feel. The second thing is manipulating your mind and manipulating your brain, even though you don't feel like it, to get yourself in a more empowered state. Again, music can do it, right? Specific smells could even do it. There are so many things that could do it. Getting around the right environment can do it. What are the ways that you can operate outside of the symptom and focus more on the cause that is going to conjure up the effect that you need to tap into the right mode to get shit done, right? So I spoke about that. I spoke about environment. It's fucking key to surround yourself with people that are going out there and making it happen. If you have naysayers and haters in your circle and people that are just not motivated, not ambitious, who do you think you're gonna be? If you're hanging around 3 losers, you're the 4th loser. If you're hanging around 3 winners, you're gonna be the 4th winner. So choose your circle wisely. Choose your emotions wisely by how you influence yourself. And regardless of how the fuck you feel, if all fails and you're not being able to be inspired for whatever the fuck reason, just do it anyways. Because by doing it anyways, you're going to be inspired. You're going to tap into a different experience than just lingering in the symptom of whatever sickness, right, you think you may possibly have. Because that's what the coward does. That's what the defeated man does. He just surrenders to his emotions, surrenders to his impulses, instead of surrendering to the discipline, to the commitment of what he has to fulfill, surrendering to his purpose, surrendering to his higher duty, and just elevating what he thinks he's capable of and doing fucking more than that. So now the only question is, what are you going to do about it?